Types of letters. Business employees have to spend a great deal of time writing letters to external audience. One of such letters is the letter of inquiry, which is written to get information about different things. It could be information regarding degrees, it could be requirements about costs, about deadlines, and so on. So the main thing here is that you have to be specific about what type of information do you need while you are writing that letter. So in the introduction, you have to clarify your intent, why you are writing the letter, what is the rationale for writing the letter, and what type of information do you need. So, and then in the discussion part of this kind of letter, then you have to specify your specific needs. What are the specific, precise things which you want to get information about. And in the conclusion as well, you have to be very precise about when do you need this information. So you have to tell about what you want from the reader and when you want and what type of thing you want from the reader. So this is what it looks like, a letter which was flawed, in which the person is asking for information about filter pools and just saying that I want information about East Lime pool, West Sulfate pool and East Aggregate pool, but not specifying that what kind of information he needs. So the reader reads it and not understanding what he wants, he says that I would be happy to provide you with any information you would like. However, you need to tell me what information you require about the pool. So you can see that because the person was not specific, he was not precise about what kind of information he needed. So the reader could not satisfy him. So after revision, now the writer has written, my company requires you to send us the following information. And now he is more specific, saying about lime pool, they want information about costs, warranties, time of installation, about sulfate pool, and for aggregate pool also they want information about the costs, the materials, and so on. So after the revision, now the writer has been able to convey what he wants, what kind of information he wants from the reader much more clear. Another type of letter which is called the cover or the transmittal letter, which is usually used to give information to clients and vendors, and it is used to preface, say for example, a job application or a longer report. So it tells upfront what the readers are going to receive, what type of information they are going to receive. So this is a very candid way of preparing the reader that what else is enclosed within that envelope. Yeah, and it also helps to focus the reader's attention on the important things which are there, where the writer wants the reader's attention to be. We can say that it is a reader-friendly sort of a gesture to help the reader to find the information which he has asked for, or to focus his attention on that and have that communication to have that desired impact. Then there is this cover letter. It has an introduction in which you have to say why and what you are writing about, and even this information might have been requested. Then in the discussion part of this letter, what you are enclosing, and you tell about what is the value of that and what are the significant points about what you are enclosing in the report or the job application. And they might include some lists of the information which you are given so that the reader is able to understand it appropriately. Then in the conclusion, you specify what will happen next after this, and why, when you want that action to be taken, and why, when you expect it to happen, and why that date is important. So it would look something like this. You can see here that it starts with a positive note in the introduction, which builds rapport and informs the reader why this letter is being written, and it is being written in response to a request. And then all the information is itemized in the body, and it clarifies what is there in the enclosure, and then it also adds the page number so that it helps the reader to find the specific information. We have recommendation letters also, which are used when, say, for example, your employee deserves a promotion and you are writing to the boss recommending this promotion, or you want to nominate somebody for an award. So then you write a letter of recommendation, or you want to give reference for a person for a job application, with the job application, or for if somebody wants an educational scholarship, or the government wants reference for somebody from you. So then you write a recommendation letter. Here in the introduction, you would write what your position is, what is your relationship with the applicant, what is the duration since when you have known him or her, what are this applicant's skills, why he deserves consideration for this job or this award or this scholarship, and what are your contact information so that the person can contact you if the need arises. So this is what recommendation letter looks like. The introduction gives the applicant's name, how the writer knows her, and the topic of this letter. Besides these letters, there is a bad news letter also, which employees sometimes have to write, in which you have to convey a bad news to the reader. So in the introduction, you have to start with the buffer. You cannot straight away go to the topic and start saying this is the bad news for you. You are being laid off, or your salary is being reduced, or you are not getting this job. So you have to say something which is positive to create more positivity, and this sort of a use of language is called a buffer. So you have to avoid telling why you are writing. So don't say straight away why you are writing. In the discussion, after you have given that buffer, then you should give the bad news and then give reasons and quantify what are the evidence because of which this bad news is being conveyed. In the conclusion, you give future hope, and you try to sound upbeat and positive, and you try to keep, because you want to have a good relationship with that particular person. So this is what a bad news letter looks like. The introduction begins with the buffer. It says, "Thank you for your May 10 letter. Gulf Stream Auto always appreciates hearing from its customers." And then the writer establishes rapport with the audience through positive words to create a pleasant tone. And in the discussion explains the company's position, states the bad news, and offers an alternative. So use of positive language is much better. You can see here, these are suggestions for how you can improve your writing, making them more positive for the reader. Confirmation letter. In business, you have to write confirmation letter in response to perhaps there's been a contract and it verifies the details of that contract or agreement, or you want to write a confirmation letter because you are confirming costs and dates and details. And this is what a confirmation letter looks like. The introduction explains why the letter is being written in response to your request and specifies the type of letter, confirmation, and clarifies the topic, training services, and fees contracted, and so on. In the introduction, you will give the context of the letter, what the topic is, and why the letter is being written. In discussion, you will specify the details as a legally binding document because it is a contract. So you have to specify the details, and then you can use highlighting techniques so that the content becomes more accessible. So this is what it would look like, the highlighting technique, so that since it is a contract, so everything should be very clear between the two parties. In the conclusion, the reader is told what to do next. So action is given, when it is expected, and why that date is important in which you expect that action to be completed. The signature is given of both the parties. Of your signature is given, and then the other party's signature space is allocated and shown. When are the payments due, and you give the dates of that, and then what is going to be the method of payment.